Hello, BIFAN. Hello, BIFAN, on your 25th anniversary. Hello, my name is Tony Kaye, and I'm an idiot. Hello, BIFAN. On your 25th anniversary, I feel honored to speak to you, and my name is Tony Kaye. Well, my career and my life is an accident, and it's an accident, and it's not. My career and my life is an accident, and it's not. Although I did set out at the beginning to try and learn about as many different forms of expression as I could. And what happened to me was I went to art school, not to movie school, and I went to art school, and I studied painting and photography and illustration, graphic design, typography, and thinking in a visual way, and it was just. But I did have these kinds of thoughts about making movies, but everybody does, I guess, have those thoughts. And I was fortunate to accidentally find my way into the world of advertising. I can't even say the word because it gives me the chills, but nevertheless, advertising, yeah. I found my way into this world, and I became a director of television commercials that I was hoping I could get in and get out quick without anyone noticing I was there. But that was not to be the case. That I somehow had a knack of, understanding the form and being able to, successfully do them. But my intention was always to make movies. And also during the course of my career at the beginning, they start this TV channel called MTV in the United States of America. And there was this kind of like massive opportunity of making music videos for musicians, bands, and things like that. And that was a marvelous, way to experiment, particularly if you were somebody like me who'd not been to film school. And, so it was a great learning patch. And when I went to Los Angeles, I went to America. I moved to America in 1990 or 1991. And I moved to the United States because I wanted to make movies. And primarily I wanted to work with American actors and actresses, because I felt that, they, in terms of the cinema, which, as I say, I don't want the cinema to come back, and I want the cinema to be dead. But anyway, and I know the words that I'm saying now are awful, and people might hear me say this and think this guy should be gone. We shouldn't even allow this guy to even make any films if he talks like that. So anyway, I understand that, but I don't really care. And I don't care what I say. I don't really care. I've never really cared. Which is why when I went to the United States of America and I make my first movie, American History X, I completely come up against a system that I found to be immoral, corrupt, and I just couldn't deal with it. And but nevertheless, I somehow got through it, and I make that movie, American History X, and you know, it, and then I decided that I wasn't cut out for making movies in that way. So I tried to destroy myself, which I did quite successfully, unfortunately. And I spin back into my roots, you know, trying to become a painter and trying to make music and all these kinds of things, which I'm still trying to do, trying to learn about these forms. So now I'm coming back into a situation that I have many movies on the go, many experimental movies that I've been working on for some years. And I have one or two more establishment kinds of projects. And I've become a writer now. And so I'm hoping that in the, call it the third act of my journey, third act of my life, I can make a number of long form movies or whatever you call them. And, you know, I'm hoping that they will find an audience, a big audience. But the audience that I want to find is not in the movie theaters. The audience that I want to find are people that watch movies on their computers and on their phones, because I believe this is the future, on the gadgets. And I'm not the only one. I mean, everyone probably thinks that, but I'm not. So anyway, so that's what I'm praying. That's what I'm praying, that I can have the energy and the good health to achieve that, you know. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed to me to be the only thing I was going to do. I mean, I never considered myself any good at it, but that I was good at it, or I had a, you know, that was not what was important to me. It was just, you know, I had a passion to, I wanted to express myself and, you know, show how I feel, and using art, some sort of artistic endeavor, to kind of express my feelings. And I thought that you know, that would be okay, and it would be of use. And you know, my communication might help, you know, whatever it was. And so then it sort of, you know, I had this kind of, I guess, understanding or feeling about telling stories in sounds and pictures, and working with other people, with other artists, and getting the best out of them to help tell a story. You know, when you're making a movie, you're working with a lot of people that do different things. You're working with actors, actresses, you know, designers of sound. I'm a cinematographer, so I photograph things myself, but you're working with many people, you know, writers, you're working with many people, and, you know, it's kind of my job to, it's the director's job to get the best out of these people, you know, be inspiring, and get the best work you can from them to tell the story that you want to tell, you know. And sometimes a story, although it might be written about a certain thing, by the time the story is told, it changes a little, because all those ideas and talents from all the people that you're working with, the fusion of those things creates, in a way, another life form. And that's something that I'm very that's something that I'm very focused on. I want that. I want the accidents. I want the things that you didn't expect to happen. I want the things that you can never write, you can never think up, but they're things that happen along the way, and you have to seize them. You know, you have to seize those moments and take those moments, those unexpected gifts from the energy of mankind, and use those gifts to tell your story. Spontaneity is very important to me. Things that, you know, you conjure up in the moment. Things that, you know, like when Jackson Pollock paints an action painting, he throws paint at the canvas and drips things on. He knows what he's doing, but the drips go where the drips want to go, and they create this other pattern, this other energy form. And that's what I try to do with a camera and with sound when I tell a story. I was sort of working as trying to be a painter in London, and I was standing on a road called the Bayswater Road in London, which backs onto a park called Hyde Park. And I would try and sell my paintings by leaning them on the fence. So when people go by, I try to sell them a painting. I didn't sell anything. Well, I sold one, I think. And one day I kind of gave up a bit, really, and I walked across the park, and I walked into a place called the Institute of Contemporary Arts. And there was a poster on the wall that said the Graphic Workshop. And I went in there, I went into this, you know, I applied to be on the Graphic Workshop. It was a course that was being, you take at the Institute of Contemporary Art. And I was accepted on the course. And I did very well on there. I was the sort of, I don't know, I kind of won. I was you know, they thought I was very interesting, the way I thought, the way my mind works. And an art director by the name of Neil Godfrey, who at that time was the most famous advertising art director in London. And he said to me, did I know what advertising was? And had I ever been into an advertising agency? And I said, not really. And he gave me his phone number. He told me to call him. And after a series of phone calls and a period of time elapsed, and I was offered a job actually at his advertising agency. And that's where I began. And when I started work at this advertising agency, there were people like Ridley Scott and Alan Parker and Adrian Lyne and Tony Scott, all very big movie makers that were starting their careers making TV advertisements, commercials. And so I thought this was a very interesting occupation, and it was kind of somehow seemed to figure into my, you know, into my life pattern, that certain things had happened to me in the course of my life that led me here. And so I decided that I would try and do that too. And within a few years, that's what I did, you know. But it took me a long time to get any work, and I lost everything that I had. But I kept going. I kept going. I persisted, and I kept going, and I kept going. And it didn't matter to me if I succeeded or if I failed. You know, what mattered to, you know, it just was every day I wake up and I work and I do things. I get through the day, and another day comes, and you know, you wake up and you start the day, and you just think about it one day at a time, and that's what I did. That's what I do still, you know. My documentary movie, Lake of Fire, which I spent about 18 years of my life trying to get that done. I'm not entirely happy with the way it's finished, but but I think it's the best thing that I've done, yeah, I think it's the best thing that I've done, and the most important piece of work. Well, as a younger man, when I was 26 years old, my girlfriend, it was a very serious relationship, and we were going to get married, and she was pregnant, and she didn't want to have the child. She wanted to have an abortion, and I was very upset at the time, and but I supported her choice, and I went to the clinic where she had the abortion done, and it kind of stayed with me, and I thought about it, and I still do, and I was just thinking about it. It's a crazy thing to go through, and I always thought that I want to make a movie about that, and I want to find out what it is, and I want to like have this thing out there that is almost like an education on the whole issue of abortion. And when I got to America, there was this incredible, not incredible, it's the wrong word, but there were these, it was a very, I mean, it's always a big issue, but there were a lot of situations like clinics were being attacked, and bombs were being placed, and riots were taking place. And I just felt that I should start making a documentary about it. And then, in fact, doctors were killed. Thank God, no doctors have been killed for many years. But I documented. There were, I think, 5 doctors were murdered during the time that I was making Lake of Fire, and I just found myself in situations that, that I just don't know how I made that movie. I have no idea how I made that movie. At the time I was working, I was making a lot of TV commercials. I was very successful in that world. I was making a lot of money, and I was financing Lake of Fire the whole time. And I found myself continuously in these situations and circumstances where I photographed these things and documented these things where crazy people were killing doctors. And I just don't know how I made that film. I just don't know how I did it. I mean, it's just, I have no idea. And I'll just never do anything like that again. I just know I won't. I mean, yeah, it's just, so yeah, I mean, because when I was making American History X, I was trying to make a prophecy. And they told me, we're not making a prophecy, we're making a movie. And I said to them, look, I know we're making a movie, but I'm making a prophecy. And I'm scared that certain things are going to happen. And I want to make something here that really provokes people into talking about things in a certain way. And, sometimes I would go to the meetings and I would take religious figures. I took a rabbi, a priest, and a monk once to a meeting because I was trying to get some kind of spiritual thinking into these people that I was working with. But they really didn't understand my methodology, and they weren't very artistic, to be honest. And what's happened is actually, which is quite interesting, is that I have a suitcase here in my office, just over there actually, and it's got hundreds of notebooks and photographs and drawings and writings and things like that I made whilst I was trying to make American History X. And I'm doing an exhibition on the 25th called Seaside Suicide. That's Seaside Suicide. And I'm basically gearing up to an NFT sale. You know what an NFT is, right? You know about all that stuff, right? You know what an NFT is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah, sure, yeah. So anyway, so I'm doing an NFT sale, and the sale is going to be, the auction is going to be everything inside this case. And Seaside Suicide is what I would consider to be my self-destruction as that person that I was then. And I'm doing it on the 25th of June because Derek Chauvin, the cop who killed George Floyd, his sentence is being passed that day. And it's very interesting that Derek Chauvin, when you look at a picture of Derek Chauvin and you look at a picture of Derek Vineyard, the neo-Nazi in American History X, their faces look very much alike. And so that's why I'm doing it on that day, trying to, in a way, create a conversation about that. Detachment, I'm kind of pleased with, but it was compromised a little bit, and or a lot. And but nevertheless, it was marvelous to work with Adrian Brody and with my daughter Betty Kaye and Sammy Gale and James Caan and Marsha Gay Harden and Lucy Liu. I mean, you know, Detachment I shot in 18 days, and I needed more time, and the screenplay by Carl Lund was an amazing piece of writing, and I needed more money and I needed more time, and I don't know, but as I say, it was a very honest endeavor, and it was a very honest attempt to show the difficulty of the teacher and the role of the teacher in the culture in our world. And I think that the job of the teacher is the most important job on the whole, you know, on the planet. If there weren't teachers, there wouldn't be anything. So you know, I'm pleased that I made it, and I read the screenplay by Carl Lund, who was a teacher, and I thought it was amazing, and I just wanted to make that movie. But as I say, I think I could have done it. I think I could do it much better if I did it now. But anyway, I did it then. VR goggles, no. Computers, Zoom calls, amazing. No, I think a story is, most stories anyway, or not most stories, I mean, stories about people, things that happen to people, things that people do, commenting on things that people do. You know, you have to tell the story, you have to illustrate the characters of the people. You have to make these people friends of the viewer. We have to have empathy for the characters, or hate the characters, or love the characters. And we use these pictures and these sounds to do that. And you know, that's what it is. And I think obviously projection and projection, the way things are projected, is going to evolve from one generation to another. But in the end, it's still going to be about, you know, how do you begin the story? What do you choose to begin the story? What do you choose to blend the beginning of the story into the middle of the story? What is the middle of the story? What happens in different stages of the middle of the story? How do you take the middle of the story and the end of the middle of the story into the end, which is the most important part of the story, because the end of the story is what the story is. And then you have to wind all the way back to make sure you've kind of, it's as exciting and as interesting as it can be. And in the end, you know, we make these things by taking a pencil and we write one word at a time. And that's it. Very simple. Write the first word once, the second word upon, third word a, fourth word time. Once upon a time. Four words. And that is what, you know, that is going to stay the same forever and ever and ever. Well, last year I really liked Nomad Land, the Chloe Zhao, Frances McDormand movie. I love that movie. And I think Chloe Zhao is a really tremendous talent, new talent. I like the Rider and also Songs for My Brother. I love those three movies that she's made. I like the two documentaries Martin Scorsese made about Bob Dylan, Rolling Thunder Review and No Direction Home. Well, he's a very talented filmmaker, but I don't personally connect with the style, with the cinematic style of the movie. Although, and I know I'm in the minority because when the movie was being shown in Los Angeles, everyone told me, you've got to see this movie. It's the most amazing movie. And I went to the screening and I fell asleep, but I was tired. The cinematic style did not appeal to me. I have to be honest. Also, Snowpiercer or whatever it's called, it didn't appeal to me either. But that's just me. So, but it was a tremendously successful movie and it did well all over the world. And then when it came to, you know, the Oscars, there's never been a more successful film. So, you know, but I just being honest, I didn't get it. My career has been idiotic. That's why I have the word idiot written on my arm. I don't know if you can see that. It says idiot, but it's at the front. But anyway, my career has been, because I've got such a big mouth and I say the wrong thing at the wrong time with the wrong expression on my face, my career is nothing yet, nothing. But I hope now to be able to make things right and not say the wrong thing at the wrong time with the wrong expression upon my face. And like, honestly, I'm thinking, you know, to say that I didn't like Parasite when I talk to a Korean audience, I must be mad. But I was just honest. I mean, I know it's a good movie. I know that the comments that it makes about the world in which we live are very cool and are very right. And I know that the director of the movie is very, very smart and a very sophisticated filmmaker. But in my opinion, he's more of a writer. It's like Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino, when he did Reservoir Dogs, I thought, wow, I've never experienced anything like that prior. And in a way, Quentin Tarantino has changed. He's like the only director that's changed the way that the movies are. But he's not a director, as far as I'm concerned, because Quentin Tarantino is a writer in the same way as Boon Joon-ho is that, did I pronounce it in the right way? Did I?
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho. I think he is a writer. He's a fantastic writer. He's not a director. Absolutely not. Not in my opinion. Parasite, I know I said I didn't like it. The film technique just didn't appeal to me, as with Snowpiercer also. I do appreciate the epic nature of the narrative. I do appreciate the epic nature of the story and the brilliance of the story. It's just the cinematic technique. I have such a kind of a narrow acceptance, a narrow zone of acceptance, and it didn't go in there. So, but that's only me. It's only me, and I do appreciate the brilliance of it. So I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, this song is for you. This song is for you, for everybody, all the attendees of the Fantastic Film School. Hope is not a dream. Hope is what I mean. I'm just thinking out loud, and there's no cloud to stop me. It would seem hope is not a dream. 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 I'll just hop on the back of the wind and float downstream. Hope is not a dream. It's all easier said than done. Just make sure you learn how to walk before you run. Life can sometimes seem like an endless maze, twists and turns, lulls and delays. Hope is not a dream. 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 But cry no more these tears tonight. I'll make them happy ones. Tears of laughter, ha ha ha. Cut the bullshit and the blah blah blah. Hope is not a dream. Hope is not a dream. Hope is not a dream. From the heart unto the sea, touching on the way every extremity. It sits in waiting in my soul, and it never stops, not at all. Let's make sadness a ghost from the past, then it will not linger, neither will it last. These are the truths that we must not ignore. I wrote them on my wall and they're worth fighting for. Hope is not a dream. Hope is not a dream, and you must know by now just exactly what I mean. My name is Tony Kaye, and I hope I've said some things that are of use to you, and I wish you the best in your journeys, in your careers. I have a speech impediment, by the way, but when I sing, I don't have a speech impediment. Careers. I wish you the best in your careers. Attendees. You can edit this, chop it up as you wish. Thank you.